Hi, and welcome to the first episode of the Pixel Chamber podcast. My name is Fresh Shavaka, your host. I'm an avid gamer who has played in the professional circuit in the FPS realm. I've been playing video games for 13 years, and FPS is for 8. Whether it is a fast paced run and gun shooter or a detailed oriented puzzle shooter, I've played and excelled at it. Joining me today is Drownwithin and lilsasquatch.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Drown. Pretty much I've been a gamer all of my life, but I'm definitely representing more of a casual gamer standpoint. I've never been a pro gamer or try hard, but my experience in gaming definitely spans across lots of genres and generations of consoles, mostly including like RPG, RTS, music and rhythm games, and most recently I got into PC gaming and have been playing a lot more FPS games. So yeah, what's up, guys?
And I'm Little Sasquatch, and I'm kind of right in the middle, but I also have a different side of it because I worked as a game developer for 2 years. So I kind of understand how video games are built and some of the technical know-how that goes into it. But I'm also I've been gaming my whole life as well. My gaming also goes across many genres. Um, Up until a couple years ago, I wasn't very competitive, but then I started getting a little bit more competitive. So, like the ranked and stuff, those game modes, I never went into actual competition, but I am a little bit more competitive than I'd say Drown. But yeah,
For sure.
For sure. And our topic today is longevity, especially with the game Hyper Scape. We're going to focus up on that and really talk about that and what we believe has come through so far in their official launch, a couple weeks into their official launch. We all played the beta of the game. We all have a beta standpoint to release standpoint. We've played extensively. I believe I'm the lowest level so far in the battle pass, sitting at 89 out of 100.
I'm
And
lowest.
oh, you're lowest. All
Yeah,
right,
and I also played in the technical test too. So I
technical
played
test.
before, like I played when the Hexfire was like super duper powerful.
Right. So we've
When
seen this game evolve through multiple standpoints and trials, if you will, and we're here to talk about it and see where we really see this going so far. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So far, longevity has been a definite question for Hyperscape and the Hyperscape community. When it first was in beta, we saw a lot of more full lobbies, a lot of not a lot of sweats, not a lot of toxicity going on. Uh, era or area to make a lot of content and just have a good time with the game. And after release, I feel like I was a bit disappointed in what really came out. I mean, we saw first day of release for me at least went a lot of not full lobbies, a lot of just not a lot of bridge from. It was a real big gap from beta to release, and you would expect with the release to be a bit more full. Just very
Yeah, for sure.
disappointed. Yeah.
I mean, let's see. I have almost 100 hours played, over 1,100 matches played. And so I've played this game a lot for sure, and probably more than these other two guys. Even though I'm more of a casual gamer, I don't have a life right now. But yeah, like for me, the first like week of the beta was like crazy. Like you could float into a full lobby like any time of day. Doesn't matter what time of day it was. I downloaded the beta on the second day of open beta and started playing at 2 a.m. and immediately just constantly started loading into full lobbies. And I feel like Hyperscape had built some hype from the technical test a little bit and people playing it on Twitch and that little bit of exposure, so it helped hype up the game. But I feel like there's several aspects to Hyperscape as to why the player retention has gone down a lot. And I feel like we're going to touch on a lot of those things, but one of the most significant is definitely the I would say the bugs and issues that the PC version has, and their lack of response, their lack of speed in dealing with these issues. That's just my opinion. So
Definitely,
Squat
definitely seem a little
Squatch.
bit lack.
Yeah, I don't know. The game, it felt different. I mean, the technical test, I never had an empty lobby except for maybe like my first few, just because they were getting people signed in. And then beta, kind of the same thing. Never really had an issue with lobbies. Only starting like recently. I mean, on release, it wasn't great, but I never had like problem. I guess I didn't feel the problems, and I haven't felt the problems until like recently, where we're loading into lobbies with 9 teams. Like I was fine loading into lobbies with 24 teams because uh, they were getting those games going quickly.
Right.
So they were making sure, like, well, let's just get like a good chunk of teams in here. At least it's not empty. But now when we're loading in with like 12 below 10, that's just there's no map to work with. And that's one big thing that's really annoying
And it takes
about
longer to
loading.
load in.
Yeah, about loading into empty games is Hyperscape, in my opinion, has a really cool mechanic that they adjust the map size based on player count. But I think it needs to be adjusted a lot because when we're missing 2 teams in squad mode, it cuts out like 4 major sections of the map. It's not even like the blue areas of the map. It cuts out the yellow areas of the map. It's like why are you cutting out the high loot spots when there's only like 2 teams missing?
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess I didn't I didn't really experience the like super low lobbies until maybe a couple weeks ago.
Right. Well, I definitely played more late night than you guys did. So
Yeah.
naturally there's going to be less players on, but you look at other types of battle royales, like you could load into Fortnite at 3 a.m. and get, you know, multiple full lobbies immediately.
Well, okay. So one thing about Fortnite is that they have bots in their game. So they
True.
and I don't know how bots would really work in Hyperscape. I don't
I
think they'd be able
feel
to make them.
right. I feel like more to Drown's point though. He's just talking about how in other battle royales we see them last a bit longer than a month after release. And we're
Yeah,
seeing a real hard decline in players, and that has to do with a lot more than just having lobbies full. It
true,
has to
true.
deal with the community it's cultivating, and definitely where it's being taken right now.
I think we
At
need
the
to address that PC and console are actually on different playing fields right now because console has no issues
Yeah,
like
console is
filling.
doing fantastic right
Yeah.
now.
So like console has no issues filling lobbies. They're full lobbies all the time. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some issues with the aiming, but they're like this. Apparently, this next patch is going to be console heavy, and I think they're starting to realize that console's probably going to like my. What I'm starting to realize is console's probably going to be their main focus.
it's carrying this game right now for sure.
Yeah.
Everything I'm hearing from founders is that it's doing really well on console. Like you can load into lobbies that are full at almost any time of the day. It's just that there's a different set of gameplay issues with the console version versus the PC version, which like it makes people who play the PC version not want to switch over because it's so different. Like I've personally watched streamers who just wanted to try the console version for the fuller lobbies for that reason alone to have fuller lobbies. They just couldn't do it because they were used to how the aiming works on the PC a lot more.
right.
So, but yeah, the console version is definitely keeping Hyperscape alive right now. I feel like
Yeah.
if there wasn't the console version right now, it might even be more dead, honestly.
Yeah, and I see. I don't even know. Like, if they do make it crossplay, they need to do it soon. They can't wait around for that.
Hmm.
Because then PC will completely die out. Like you'll lose so many PC players. Because I mean, we like even when we're loading into those small lobbies, I think another thing to mention is that we fight the same people every
Hmm.
time. I die to
And
the same person like 3 out of my 5 games that I play, and it's just so I hate that so much. If I wanted to
absolutely.
play the same people over and over again, I'd look in the Scrim Discord and try to get into scrims.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, we definitely see, yeah, we definitely see the same guys, and like you're saying, it gets a bit old, especially when we're going up against the same, you know, lack of a better term, tryhards. You know,
Yeah.
it's the same
Yeah.
guys trying to improve over and over again, which there's nothing wrong with. But if I'm constantly put up against a guy that I know I'm having a hard time beat, how do you expect me to improve as a player? You know, and
Exactly.
so I definitely see how that impacts player base and just wanting to play the game. You know, after you die 22 times in this game by the same guy, you're sort of like, well, shit. I don't really want to play this anymore.
It's like I'm
You're
gonna
sit.
log off for now until he's gone, so I can actually, win the game.
Right, like let's go play Sims, or let's go play something that's a bit more relaxing. And we've definitely seen that draw really hit the newer players harder than any other side of this game. You know,
For
we
sure.
definitely first day of beta, or first day I logged on the beta, a lot of new friendly guys, right? And we just don't see the new people coming in on PC. We see more people leaving, and that's just not a very good thing and positive outlook I would like to have on a game that I genuinely enjoy and find fun. It's hard for me to sit there and justify playing the game if all I'm gonna get is 12 people in my lobby, and I know that I could beat 6 of them, so it's just a chance of me not winning to the other 6. Yeah, I'm not doing too well with it. I'm finding it hard to spend hours on the game like I did in beta. I would sit down for a 7-hour session and it would feel like it was 30 minutes. But the second I sit down for a 5-hour session now, I'm just like, well, can't do it. I have to take breaks and like do my own thing for a little bit to do that mental reset. It's killing me. It's killing me to see a
Yeah.
game that's so much fun go that way.
Yeah, and like I said, like if you are facing the same people over and over again, you're basically not gonna be able to avoid that person unless you just log off and play later. Like
Right.
there's not, I don't know how this works from like a game development standpoint or a server standpoint, but I feel like there should be some way to combine lobbies. Like I realize that could cause issues with people's ping and how their connection works to the servers, but like there
Well,
doesn't need to be 3 North American servers. There could only be 2, you know?
so that's where they've said, like Ubisoft has said that they made their connection, the like ping connection level, whatever. I'm trying to think of like how it, basically Ubisoft puts people in server based on their ping to the server. So if you have over a certain ping, you'll get kicked from it. Their like limit, in my opinion, is really really narrow, and it's not very good because, I mean, I get kicked all the time just from a ping spike that shoots me over like 150 or something. I don't know what the actual number is, but that's
Right.
why that's another reason like why you get continuously put in the same lobbies because you have similar pings to the same people that are pinging to the server. Yeah, I think that 2 servers would be fine. They just need to uh, um, increase the ping
Yeah.
Right.
cap.
Right. And that's because you're playing on Wi-Fi, so that inconsistency is just something inherent in Wi-Fi. Like there like
Yeah,
or
but you
wait,
shouldn't have to play wired. I think. I mean, I that in my opinion, like you shouldn't have to. Yes, it's the best way to do it, but like the
or
game should
wait,
be.
Am I mistaken? Do you use an Ethernet cable?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah. So you're on Wi-Fi. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think that you should have to play with a wired connection to be.
Oh no, definitely. Like you're saying, they should widen that tolerance a little bit to be more, lenient. And then yeah, so based on your ping, it's still basically going to end up being a regional thing. Like for example, Roxy Surf Chick lives in Houston and I live in Dallas, so we're going to load into the same lobbies a lot of the time whenever we're playing.
Yeah, if you're the host, but like if I'm the host,
Hmm.
I live in Des Moines, so we should be loading into different people's lobbies up here, like. Or if they split it east and west, then we shouldn't be loading into the same lobbies as anybody multiple times in a row but like the issue is I think they have 3 servers in North America,
Hmm.
right?
There's East, Central,
Right.
and West.
Yeah. So I think that if they got rid of the central one, it would make the player base feel more full.
I agree because like I think Fresh is on the West Coast server, so like whenever Fresh is the host and we load in with him, we face like slightly different people, maybe
Mm-hmm.
some of the same, but so yeah, I feel like that would help make the player base feel more full, and then of course we haven't talked a lot about it yet, but the crossplay function as well.
Well, I think that's something they need to look into. If you guys are talking about full lobbies on, console, and we're sitting here PC struggling to get 20 squads, like
Yeah.
where does that put us? It sort of like telling us, the PC community at least, hey, don't play our game. We can't host you, even though like you were the ones that had beta, you're the ones that were technical testing. Like we can't host you anymore with full lobbies. We're just gonna, yeah.
I was just gonna say, until console release, we were the ones paying them, buying the stuff, giving them
Absolutely.
money.
Absolutely. We were buying cosmetics. We were sitting there giving them positive feedback on their game. I don't feel like anyone in the PC community exclusively was overly, forceful towards them at all. And I just like, it feels like they've turned their back on us, honestly. And as a streamer sort of view, I enjoy this game. Extensions are nice, allowing my community to interact with me 24/7 by just letting me play the game. Like I play the game, people get points towards battle point or battle pass. People get cosmetics that they can unlock. They could sit there and work towards these things. And there's no other platform like that hosts a positive stream community right now. You go look at Call of Duty and they don't have that. You go look at all these bigger AAA titles and you're like, why are these guys getting 51,000 views a streamer for playing Call of Duty, but the person who has the extension enhanced and like the support behind the game, why is that guy only getting a max of 2K? And we got to look at it. Who's tried it? Definitely, like, I guarantee not the whole PC community's tried it, but there's been a definite like interest, and I've talked to friends and stuff, and like people have been like, I've tried to play the game, I enjoy the concept, I just can't get it down, and so they give up on the game so easily.
Yeah, because there's like so many people who are already, the skill gap is so high from the people who are new to the people who are pro at this game that it causes that frustration and that anger. Like, man, I can't even get one kill or survive longer than 3 minutes. Like, why am I playing this game right now?
Right. And definitely, like, I think that just goes into like community that they're cultivating. you know
Yeah.
Well, I actually think one of the issues with it is that it is so ingrained in Twitch because, like, the way video games do really well is like through YouTube, honestly. Because once things go like, because YouTube has the highest number, like the highest foot traffic per day of any like entertainment platform. I'm pretty sure,
It
or
does.
like,
Yeah.
or it's super close to that.
I think
So, like,
Twitch has like 30 million daily users or 40 million, and YouTube has like 350 million globally.
I thought it got, yeah. Anyways, it was an insane gap But like when things go like super viral on YouTube, a lot more people are going to see it. I think one of the issues with this game, while it's super cool that it's super ingrained with Twitch, it like stops YouTube streamers from wanting to play it because they can't do all the same shit with that like Twitch streamers can do. And then at the same time, I just don't think it took off on like YouTube videos. I don't think there was like a YouTube video that just popped off with Hyper Scape. I didn't see like none popped up into my feed. And I watch YouTube a lot and I watch video gaming on YouTube a lot. So it definitely would have been recommended to me if anything was like super popular. So I think that it's like non-success on YouTube or its failure on YouTube arguably was one of the big reasons it's not doing well right now.
I would
I
agree.
mean,
Like, go ahead, Fresh.
yeah. So I'm coming at a different point of view, right? Because I'm a streamer. You know, I sit here and play and enjoy this game, and I agree that at some point it didn't pop off on YouTube, and I can agree with you that it doesn't contribute to it contributes to the failure of the game, sure, but at the same time, I tried to get in the ground floor with the YouTube community, and all of them are like, "Oh yeah, you know, we'll sort of do that. Okay, we could put one clip up here." You know, so I feel like it has to do with the creators of the content as well, not only just the content. You know, I contacted multiple like, so previously to Hyperscape, I played Escape from Tarkov, and I played a lot of Escape from Tarkov, and I was featured in multiple YouTube videos that had 70, 80,000 views on them. You know, that's how I got my start on Twitch, was featuring myself in these videos and like submitting these clips and getting clips submitted. And I tried to do that in Hyperscape, and everyone's just sort of like, yeah, no, like I had an email exchange with one of the Hyperscape, you know, top clip channels for Hyperscape, and he's like, yeah, we just can't post your content. I only, you know, post British content. And he went on this whole like rant about how he wouldn't post American content because it doesn't represent what he wants on his channel. And I said, that's okay. And he's now struggling to find content. So I just feel like it goes with the content creators more than the actual gameplay, and it's sad to see that, you know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's that's an interesting case for sure. But like when big content creators like Courage is one of the bigger streamers on YouTube, he did a paid ad for the game. Like they paid him to play the game and like I think he's super entertaining. He made a video on it and it just didn't do well. And the thing about like YouTube creators is it is straight up a business for them. I don't know about this guy with the British shit, but it's like if something doesn't do well on their channel, they're not going to post another video of it.
Well,
Right.
yeah. The point I was gonna make as well. Like, okay, so did you guys know that Tfue won Twitch Rivals for
Yeah.
Hyperscape? I didn't even know that till yesterday, and I was upset when I found that out because I was like, this dude doesn't even play the game. Like, he might have played the game for some hours or whatever, but he doesn't stream the game. He doesn't promote the game. He doesn't. He's not part of the community. And you know, regardless of your feelings about Tfue, whether you think he's cool or not, that I think that is hurtful to the Hyperscape community. That all of the like top 10 squads in Twitch Rivals Hyperscape North America were people like Tfue and people who were paid to play the game at first and then invited by Twitch because they're large streamers. And so the person who told me that Tfue won Twitch Rivals was like, I was like, but that's stupid. The dude doesn't even play the game. Why did they even put him in Twitch Rivals? And the person who told me that was like, well, he likes the game. He just is not going to play it because he gets 50K viewers with COD and like 500 viewers with Hyperscape. And that's his livelihood. That's his business, you know. He makes money off the ads, he makes money off the subs and the donos, and if there's just not people regardless of the interactivity that Hyperscape has with its viewers right now, there's just so many more people like watching like COD or even something like Apex or I don't really know what Tfue plays. I don't watch.
I
I'm pretty
mean,
sure he's a main COD guy right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think that Twitch Rivals is decided upon by Ubisoft and by Twitch, uh, because I think a lot goes into like the promotion of all the people in there. Like, I see what you're saying, but about Tfue probably not being the best for the community. But at the same time, it's like they were really trying to get people into this game, and they figured, okay, he gets 50,000 viewers in COD. Maybe if he can pull those viewers over to this, we could get new eyes on the game that would try it. Like,
True.
yeah, you can estimate that you're not going to get all of the people. Um, but I think another thing about Tfue is like, you're right. He doesn't play this game, but he won. So his viewers probably saw this game and thought it looked easy. And we all know that, like, when you jump into this game, it's not easy because you
Yeah.
have to,
Right.
like, figuring out people's movement is, in my opinion, like, the reason people don't really come back. Uh, it's because they're not
That's why
used to,
people think that time to kill is high, is because people can
yeah.
escape very easily.
And that's like, I guess, time to kill is kind of why people arguably don't come back, is because they think it's too high, but they just really need to figure out how people jump. That's
Right.
basically it.
Right.
But
I
I don't know. Maybe we should probably just move on to content about like what they're releasing and how quickly they're releasing it. Unless you guys have more to say about the player base,
I
I
mean,
don't
I
really have
think
much.
my final thought about it would be, it feels from a player standpoint that they're helping cultivate a community that isn't good for the game. They're actively saying, "Hey, what it's come down to is who has the best stats, right? Because that's who gets the most views on Twitch. We don't see personality streamers, if you will, being the top viewed. Like, it's more of the, oh, I'm ranked, 1 percentile in wins and, 0.5 percentile in kills, and those are the guys who are up there. So I just feel like it cultivates a little bit of a weird try hard, community that I wasn't really expecting when I first jumped into this game. I was expecting more of a Apex Legends community where, sure, there's your average tryhard, but at the same time, there's the casual person who's just trying to have fun with two of his buddies. So I'm
Well, I
disappointed
think
in
that's
what's come out.
I think that's gaming in general now, but that's like a bigger discussion. I think that you don't see on Twitch, I'd say it's 70% tryhards and want to be big people, and then like 30% personality streamers and entertainers. I think that's like one of the biggest problems in video games now, is that there are so many tryhards because everybody wants to make, like, not everybody, but a lot of people want to make playing video games their job. And like, I don't blame them, but at the same time, a lot of people think the best way to do it is just to be super fucking good at the game and not really be a personality or enjoyable to watch.
Sure.
So I think that what you said is right, but I think it's actually, in my opinion, it's like throughout almost every video game I've played in the last couple of years, ever since Fortnite, basically. Ever since Fortnite kind of proved that streamers can make a lot of money, it the video game community has gotten like sweaty. I would like Video gaming's always been pretty toxic, but now it's like sweaty. Like,
Right.
after a month of a game being out, there's already, after 2 weeks, I take that back. There's a meta. There's everybody. There's like, if you really care about it, you're going to be looking at YouTube videos trying to figure out the best way to like kill people, how to do it quickly, how to get off like these good revives and stuff like that. And it's like gaming has kind of lost, not all games, but a lot of the PvP games lose that casualness after like a couple months because
Right.
of the way that like entertainment is on Twitch now, because everybody thinks that they got to be the best to be super entertaining.
Right.
Yeah.
You
So
can't be
like,
enjoyable.
yeah. So like, I mean, I do that kind of thing for games all the time, but that's just because I'm a nerd and I like to like research the topics that I'm interested in. And for me, it's never really been like, oh, I gotta get good so I can get 1,000 viewers on Twitch. It's more just like, I enjoy this game. I want to enjoy it more, so let me find out more information. But I realize that's not necessarily how everybody else views it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just more of like how I feel from a casual player standpoint. But oh man, I was gonna make another point, but I can't remember. Did you have anything to say, Fresh?
I mean, I'm sitting here from my standpoint is I don't find it. It's hard for me to find another streamer, if you will, that has the same point of view. I'm not here to be the best anymore. I've already gone down that route, and I've played professional Apex. I've sat there and been with top contenders, right? I'm just trying to have a good time, and it feels like there's a lot more people that are going away from having a good time to, if I don't get X amount of kills a game or X amount of damage, I'm gonna rage. And I feel like it's a very negative way that this game somehow, out of all of them, brings the most of that to the table. The most out of all that. I just I could go back to Fortnite and still find an okay amount. I never really truly dove into Fortnite. I played 4 or 5 matches and I was able to kill people and be okay with it. But there's always going to be a better guy out there, and I'm accepting of that. But I'm still able to go in and kill somebody and not have a problem with it. Whereas in this game, I feel like if I'm not trying my best, if I'm not trying to compete on a good level, I'm getting my butt handed to me 24/7. I can't get off another kill, and that just feels bad to me as a content creator, because that's not the area I want to focus in, you know. So I guess
I
that's where I'm
agree.
coming from with it.
Yeah, I remember my earlier point I wanted to say, and I guess this is, I don't know, this is kind of bleeding into content as well, but like, to me, the game always, from the beginning, it felt like it was kind of trying to be a more casual game. Like it's an arena shooter, in the style of Doom or Quake, in the way that you hop around a lot and like there's crazy actions happening all the time on screen and stuff like that. And the fact that there's like explosive in the games. Like Sasquatch doesn't like the explosives, but I do as a casual gamer, because it gives it that kind of arena like feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of and that's the kind of stuff I really enjoyed in like older games. Like in Halo, I would always get the rocket launcher and just try to be dumb with the rocket launcher and land stupid shots. But
Right.
Okay, can I clarify one thing? I don't like hate explosives. I just wish they would do damage to the person that's shooting it. Like if
yeah,
you're super close to it and you're shooting it at a wall, it should be hurting you too, even if it is killing the other person.
yeah, I
I
agree.
get
That's
I get really upset when I'm like sitting in a building with somebody with a salvo just bouncing it off the wall and it's exploding in their face and I'm dying. And
I get
Right.
they're just laughing.
I get that. That's definitely a balanced standpoint that they could
Hmm.
relook at for sure.
I think that,
But
yeah, like you said, kind of bleeds into content though too. So
yeah, like the casualness like was taken out after, not taken out, but it like just went less and less and less during the beta, until like the last week of beta. It just felt like really sweaty, and especially whenever they did the last gun balancing patch, which I know neither one of you played that much, but I played first probably, I would say, like 5 or 6 hours of that patch, and it was just not fun. It was no longer like a casual, just kind of like, oh yeah, let's hop in and hyperscape for an hour or two.
well,
And
go ahead. Sorry.
no, I mean that's pretty much it. It's like it seems like the casualness is no longer there. Like, and perhaps, and what Fresh's point as far as like, oh, the people who get the most views and the most attention on Hyperscape for the most part are people who have high stats, or they're ranked really high on the leaderboards. And I, to some extent, blame Tracker.gg for introducing that during the beta. You know?
I just feel like trackers have been around forever. I feel like it's just the community that it cultivates. You know, it's the people that come out of it. You know, I was playing Apex and fuck, I knew where I was every single, day. I sat there and looked at it every single day. I'm like, okay, so I'm ranked 24th right now in Bloodhound. Let's get those numbers up. I would go play 3 hours and be like, okay, now I'm ranked 5th. Okay, cool. You know, that's how I set my measures of if I was having fun or not, is if I could get up the next level. And if I couldn't, there was days that I was just getting my butt handed to me and I couldn't get up that next level, and that just threw me into more of a like upset and rage sort of way, if you will. You know, that's when I was sitting there. I broke a mouse once. I've had a piece of a mouse go into the side of my hand because I was upset. I've broken keyboards, you know. So like, I just feel like that's not what I was expecting when this first came out, and it's just, in my opinion, a sad way that has come from all of the attention it's gotten and the people that create content for it, you know? Like, I've even dove a little bit into the tryhardness where I have a win and kill counter now. Now, do I take that the most serious in the world? Absolutely not. I'm not sitting there like, if I don't get a kill this game, I'm gonna, throw my monitor across the room. But at the same time, I'm still paying a little bit more attention than if I was in, any other competitive game I've ever played. I said that, it's just, it feels like I've been not forced, but sort of coaxed into wanting to do that, because that's definitely like gotten people a little bit more hype about the streams,
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, my point on that is this game is a shooter game. The point of the game is to kill other people. So the fact that you have like you're just keeping track of your kills throughout the day while you're playing it, I don't think that that's like necessarily being saying that, oh, you're trying hard. It's that's just my opinion on the way I see that.
right, I'm just saying, like, in a way, like, it sort of feels like I can't, it feels like I've sort of been like pointed in the direction of, have that up on your stream, like, let's see how well you've done today.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that it's bad and that's not the point. I'm just saying, as a content creator, it feels like that's what is getting a bit more views on the channel, and just like more of a, I guess, an area to see. Not an area, but like more of a spectacle to see, is where you see, high kill games, high wins, high wins that day, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll stick around on the stream, especially if like a viewer comes in mid game. Like, I've noticed the fluctuation. If somebody comes in mid game and I have 8 wins on the board, they're more likely to stay if I lose my next game or the game that I'm in currently. But if I have 3 wins on the board and I die, even though that was a very high kill game, I'm less likely to have that person stick around. So it just feels like an influencer in the stream, if you will, and I wasn't really expecting it from this sort of game. I was expecting more like, if you're having fun and doing like cheeky things, that would get a bit more viewership. So I
Right.
guess that was my disappointment when, full release came out, more or less.
Yeah. Full release. Okay, I guess we can go into like content for sure. Like,
Yeah,
I
let's
don't think it
dive
was
into
ready.
that.
I don't think it was ready for full release. I'll just say that point blank. Like, it should have been in beta longer. They didn't fix some of the glaring issues, and I guess that's kind of bugs too. But like, yeah, the content of the game. I mean, like the faction wars mode is like broken in many aspects, and instead of like removing it from the game like they did with the magnet recently, they're just leaving it in and letting the bugs stand. And I don't know if that's helpful or not, because faction wars is already splitting the player base between squads and faction wars. The people who like faction wars are people who play typically squads. There are some solo players who like it too because they can pop off and get like a 20 bomb or whatever. But for the most part, it's squads and faction wars have the same player base. So, in my opinion, when they found out that faction wars had some of the problems it did, inaccurate player count, the egregious amount of cheaters. They should have taken it out. Even though it would have been less content, it would have been more important to keep the player base together, in my opinion. And I don't know how you guys feel about that or not.
I think it's silly that they went with the full release model in the first place. It's like I don't think I think it should still be in beta basically, but I don't think that they should have had the computer beta or the PC beta for so long without having any console beta at all. I think it's pretty insane that they just like, yeah, we're just gonna go full release on console. When they could have left it in like beta or early access so they can update it more quickly, because like one of the main issues is they can't update the game quickly because on console you have to put it in
For
2
QA,
weeks. Yeah, you have to put it in like 2 weeks to a month earlier, but on PC you can just kind of push an update. If your game's in beta on console, you can just push an update, I believe, as well. I don't think it has to go through the same paths. So the biggest problem, in my opinion, is they should just left it in beta the whole time. They should
Right.
never have gone full release. They should have just been like, and now it's released in beta on all these consoles or on all these different platforms or whatever. Because
Well,
I think a game like this, it needs updates weekly or every 2 weeks. You can't wait a month to update it because like the bugs, most of these, like a lot of these bugs, not necessarily game breaking, but it's just fucking annoying to play with. Like no audio, I hate that so much, and it
I think
happens
that's
so
game breaking.
often. I don't think it's game breaking because you can still play the game, but it's like it's harder to play the game, but like your
Same.
game doesn't crash. You know what I mean? That's what a game breaking bug is. Like a game that
Yeah.
literally stops you, a bug that literally stops you from playing the game.
It's on the borderline. It makes it so difficult to play the game, but you could technically still make it through.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Go ahead.
here's my point of view on it. We have all these games out there that are just simply sitting in beta. You know? And I don't know why they decided to go with a full release. And on top of that, add content to the full release. You know? Like, if you're already having problems in beta, where we were seeing a little bit of bugs, a little bit of kicking, a little bit of all that sort of jazz go on, and you see that and you're like, well, let's throw new content in it that definitely will affect that, you know, and then let's, on top of that, make it full release and say the game's polished. You know, that's already setting a too high expectation, if you will. And definitely we saw a negative impact from that. I think it should just kept in beta. I think you open it to consoles, you open it to PCs, try what you want. Try adding new content. Like, they blame it on the magnet that the sound bug was happening and all that, but you know, it was happening a little bit before too in beta.
It happened to be in beta, yeah.
It just didn't make sense to me when you're like, okay, we're gonna spend all this money on this game, and then we're gonna spend all this money on top of advertising, full release it, and then it's gonna have all these bugs. You know, you're building up unnecessary hype that you haven't essentially addressed the problems. I also feel like they've addressed the problems horribly. You know,
Agreed.
blaming it on their content is like, what the hell? You know?
They're not blaming the sound bug on the magnet. They're saying that the magnet makes the sound bug worse, but the actual problem is something different.
Right, and that's not going to be fixed until season 2, by the way.
Yeah, so like,
because it's too big of a problem for them to fix mid-season.
I think that excuse is ridiculous, and that's one of the reasons I stopped playing Apex, is because it took them fucking a month to release a patch to fix something that was sometimes game breaking, sometimes not. It's so ridiculous to me that these companies take so long to fix bugs that are so annoying and so prevalent in the game. And that's one of the issues with going full release, is you don't have the option to release as many updates on consoles as you do on PC. So, I mean, they could have a lot of these bugs fixed, but they have to wait. I mean, not the sound bug, but like other bugs, they could have them fixed, but they can't put them out yet because they have to go through all the QA on consoles. So we're getting punished for that. And like, I guess I could be wrong, but I feel like PC gamers are more critical of games. So when like shit's not working, it's
especially a
kind of
free game.
fucking dumb. Yeah. Like, well, I didn't pay I didn't have to pay anything for this. So like, while I love this game, if like I've lost interest in this game over the past couple weeks
Right.
because of bugs and player base and content, like all this shit. It's like they need to update the game more. I don't need every week. I don't need every 2 weeks, but once every season is not enough. In my opinion, twice every season, not enough.
Yeah, and the another thing that we haven't brought up yet is the fact that there's an ambiguity as to whether it's actually the full release or not. The loading screen,
Oh
the
yeah.
splash screen when you load in says beta in the top right corner, and it says that on console too. So like, uh, if you're gonna like lie to us and say that it's the full release and when it's still in beta, it's like their nomenclature is wrong. Like they should have called the open beta for PC, they should have called that early release beta or early access beta, and then
Well,
brought the
but
beta
yeah.
to consoles, and then said, okay, now it's the open beta for console and PC together, and that should be the point we're still at. Because like if Faction Wars was brought out during the time when they were claiming that it was beta, people wouldn't complain too much about the problems, or their feelings would be slightly different towards the problems that Faction Wars has, because they'd be like, oh, it's a beta game mode, they're working out the bugs, they put it out to see what the bugs were to fix them for a later full release that's more polished.
Mhm.
But the way they claim that this is the full release, and then introduced Faction Wars after that fact. We were expecting a fully polished, fully fleshed out game mode, which, I mean, I guess we shouldn't have expected that because nobody had played it before. But like that's what you assume when it's like a full release game, brand new game mode. You'd think that the problems they had with it were fixed through their own internal QA or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I
And I,
think. Go ahead.
as a player, I feel disrespected by it, to be 100% honest with you.
Agreed.
And
As all three of us have spent a lot of money on this game because we enjoy the game and we wanted to support it, that's a slap in the face, in my opinion.
oh, absolutely. I sit there and I've spent $87 on this game. Okay, with taxes and all that, all that crap. I've gone through and looked at it. I've spent $87 on this game. Okay, and they're sitting there and like, we're gonna half-ass release this game, and then on top of that, we're gonna make sure that the console works better than the PC, even though you were playing on PC and you're the one that supported us originally. And then
Well,
we're gonna go through
that's what we're
and
thinking
cancel
is
it.
going to happen. They haven't fixed the console yet, and that's what they're saying they're
Yeah,
going to do.
console's not better than PC right now.
That's what they're
Oh,
saying they're going to do, but we don't know for sure. But I get the sentiment. They're fixing the problems with console before they fix the problems with PC. Anyways, continue.
and like, I'm the one sitting there like, I gave you the money. Like, you're running with it. I've spent more on this game than I would on a $60 release of any other game. I mean, we go look at these full release $60 games, and they're sitting there with very little to none problems, and they fix them. I sit here and I'm like, Soundbug's been in for a month and a half. All right, cool. Like, I think it's beyond time to fix it. I mean, there's
No,
games
Call
out
of Duty
there.
is one of the most bug riddled game I've ever played.
Well, I'm not
So,
talking Call of Duty. I'm talking like,
well, you're talking like
GTA
60.
was out.
So I guess you were just talking $60 games, and like the multiplayer of Call of Duty is disgustingly bug ridden. Warzone's technically free, but that's also bug ridden to hell. Like, but I get the sentiment. They shouldn't have put it in a full release, but like fixing bugs isn't a super easy thing to do. They should put more effort into it, but I don't know. I don't necessarily feel disrespected by it. I just think that the devs probably don't get to make the decision. They have the people that are telling them how money works making the
True.
decision. So
Because Ubisoft is not a small company.
no, it's not. And they're definitely focused on. I'm curious how much money console players have actually spent. Because, like, I'm thinking it could be a good amount of money, too.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's not only is it like popular as far as like the player base is higher than PC, but it's also doing well monetarily from what I hear. And I think that part of that is the fact that they're, and this I think relates to content as well, is they're bringing back all these skins that they have sold before already in the PC beta, and it's the first time the console players are seeing them. So it's like, oh yeah, I gotta get this, Ace Osaka skin, the blue ninja guy. I gotta get him because I've never seen him before. When the PC players are like, oh, he's been in the shop like 3 times already. Like,
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest issues was that they put it into beta on PC for like more than a month. Because
yeah,
they put out the technical test, which is like 4 or 5 days, and they put out the beta, which was a month long,
hmm
and it allowed people to build a massive skill gap.
for sure.
So, like, anybody that joins PC on release is going to get dusted by anybody that's played in the beta.
Yeah,
And then you made
I mean that's
console
what's
players
happening right now for
wait. Oh, that's still happening, and it's
sure.
getting worse because nobody new is joining the game anymore. It feels like.
Mhm.
But then you made console players wait a month, so the people that were like super hyped about it still played, but I'm sure they lost a lot of console players had they released it earlier on console in beta.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I'd watch streams of this during the beta, and it's Thor's stream mostly, and
I was about to say
I
that.
you couldn't count how many times somebody came in and said console win.
Yeah.
Like, you physically, it'd probably be 10,000 times in one day. Not even kidding. I swear to God, is like every other message was like console win, console win.
hmm
So I just think that the
You cut out there, little squatch. Oh.
Did he drop? Does his
Say
Wi-Fi give out?
small F in the chat for Sasquatch's Wi-Fi.
That's good.
Okay, there. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I think they have really bad decision makers making bad decisions, like when it comes to the marketing of the game and shit like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
for
then
sure.
when all the people were hyped about getting on console, when it finally came out, they get on and the aiming is scuffed. And I don't know all of the issues with console specifically, but I hear that's a big issue. Is the aiming
Because
is
it didn't give them a lot of options, like to change, customize. There you go, customize like options on their aiming and shit like that.
mhm. Which is supposedly coming next week. They're from what I hear, they're adding linear aiming to consoles, which some people say would be even worse, but I don't know what that technically means anyway. So
Okay, basically, what's happening right now is the more you turn on console, the faster you start to turn.
right, the
Um,
acceleration thing.
yeah, because it's exponential curve. It's an exponential curve.
hmm
When it comes to linear curve, the more you turn, you're going to be turning the same speed no matter how far you turn. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like you'll gain speed to a certain extent, right? Because like you can move your thing slowly so you don't like speed up a lot, but like when it's all the way to the left or the right, it will be the same pace the whole time, basically.
Yeah.
You're right.
You won't just keep increasing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But
I
yeah,
mean,
like, go ahead, Fresh.
I don't know. I just I don't feel like it was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think it's ever been there. Like, if I was a game designer, I'd look at it and be like, yeah, that's not what I just spent $4 million designing. You know, like their numbers are a bit scuffed, but they've definitely spent a decent amount of money. I think somebody brought up a number of like 2 to 3 million on advertising alone.
Hmm.
And like if you sit there and you spend that much money on advertising, and then your product is so just not there. It doesn't meet the expectations. It doesn't even get halfway to the expectations. You gotta take a big look at yourself. You gotta be like, okay, how are we gonna recover from this? And like, what are we gonna do to reinsure the player base we have right now that we're gonna go in the right direction? I just feel like they've done a horrible way of communicating that, and they've sort of just said, hey, we're gonna put content first. So all these new skins, all these, you know, all these cosmetics and the new items and weapons and stuff, that's gonna come before we really fix these big problems. And actions speak louder than words to me, and definitely in
Hmm.
their actions they've persuaded that as well. And I feel disappointed by that, to be honest with
But
you.
the cosmetics are like half-ass. Like there's some pretty good skins. Don't get me wrong. Like there's probably like a handful of 5 or 6 really good skins that they've had so far, but they're like the $15 ones, the $12 ones. But like the weapon skins specifically, dude, like what a ripoff. You get one wrap for one gun when you should be paying for the wrap for every gun. Like it's and that's I get it. It's a free game. They got to make their money back. But like, forgive me if I'm wrong, but like, isn't it like in games like Call of Duty or Fortnite when you get the skin, you can apply it to every gun?
Yeah. Well, not
Yeah.
Call of Duty, but Fortnite, yes. I think all right, I think a perfect example of that is like, say the D tap was the issue, was the magnet. It was like the D tap increased the occurrence of the sound bug, right? And they removed the D tap. Well, if I paid for a skin for the D tap and they remove it for an indefinite amount of time, I'm going to be fucking pissed that I can't use what I paid for.
Right.
So them selling one skin per gun is like the stupidest thing ever. It should be a bundle of skins for all the guns, and you should pay however much they determine. But like, the skins aren't cool. I haven't seen a single gun skin that I think is worth $10. And they put out gun skins that they're like, this is $15. It's like, no, that's not. Like, there's nothing cool about that skin. Yeah, I think their content is lacking. I
And I
think
think that's something that we're not alone on. Thor has definitely mentioned that the legendary skins should have like sound effects and like some kind of like cool effect when you reload the gun or whatever. Uh, like I'm not super familiar with other battle royales with weapon skins, but like apparently in Fortnite they'll like make a sound when you reload or like
well, Fortnite has like the more kills you get, your gun like starts glowing.
oh okay
So
okay
like you can see if somebody like that's what I think sick. Cause like if I say I got like 5 kills with the protocol and it starts it's like on fire, right?
hmm
Somebody sees me with the protocol on fire, they're like, oh fuck,
they're running.
yeah, that dude's already got 5 kills with that. Like I don't or
Not trying to
like
mess with that. Yeah.
yeah, or you have like a glowing ripper or some shit like that. That's what I want to see. I want to that visual trigger to know that somebody's like good. Like,
And
oh
this game
fuck.
has the visuals. It has that
Yeah,
aesthetic
like
that you can do cool stuff like that. They just
I'm
aren't.
blown away the guns aren't neon. It blows my mind. This whole thing is built with like neon like
Tron.
accents. Yeah, it's like how are these guns not glowing? I don't get how you don't have a single skin that's got like an insane neon stripe through it.
Right. The legendary skins should have glowing parts, like the Javi Salvo skin where it's got the skull. It's like the eyes
Yeah, the
should light
eyes.
up.
Yeah.
Thor was saying like when you reload it, the little spray canister on the side should puff out a little, puff of spray paint or whatever. And like, yeah, there
Will do, yeah.
little things like that would like make it feel like it's a legendary skin worth $15 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I guess overall content I'm just pretty disappointed in it. They released. I guess they're doing all right with guns. I mean, the first hack they released, though, they had to
Yeah, to take it back out.
deactivate. Yeah. So I'm getting more frustrated with the game for like all of the reasons we've kind of listed today, like the player
Yeah,
base, the content, and the bugs. It's kind of getting to that point where they need to do something, and if they don't address it quick, they're gonna lose a lot of PC players.
for sure. I
I
have
mean,
two.
console might stick around. See, I don't know if like I can't really speak on console. Like console is supposedly doing really well, so maybe console players aren't as critical as like we're being, but we've also played it for a lot longer. We've also put in money to it, and like we know what this game should feel like, and we're just not hitting that point anymore. I guess I'm not hitting that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I do have 2 points I want to make about content. One, I think that the story content that they've added with the quote unquote full release was I liked it. Like the cutscene at the beginning when you loaded in and it told you the whole backstory of the Hyperscape and the fact that the hacks aren't really supposed to be in Hyperscape and that it's an anomaly. Like that was cool to me.
Yeah,
And
that's pretty
then
cool. Yeah.
the memory shards where you read the little story clips and stuff like Ace and Javi are best friends. Like you didn't know that until you read the memory shard about them hanging out together and stuff. So I thought that was cool. Like it gives you a little backstory to the game, and they're not the best written story clips in my opinion. Little you know
Yeah.
snippets, but it still gives some cool background to it, and I like that. And that's one thing about content that I'll give them props for. I just want to see more of that. I think,
I think that's pretty
especially
cool.
as the seasons go on. Like I want to see more, like how Fortnite does. Like Fortnite's underwater or whatever, or I guess now it's the superheroes are in Fortnite or
Yeah,
whatever
Marvel. Okay,
lame
Fortnite
shit.
just turned into an ad now, so I don't know.
Yeah, true. But but every season it's a different
Oh
theme,
yeah,
different
I
little
like
storyline. Like even I think Apex does this too. Like they have specific storyline things that
Apex
happen.
is really good. I love Apex's lore. I think
Yeah.
Fortnite did really well in its first chapter or whatever it was
hmm
with lore, and I agree with you. I think that they're going the right direction, maybe a little bit more.
But the other thing about content, oh shit, what was the second point I was gonna make? I can't remember. Did you have anything to say about the lore and story fresh? Do you like that or are you muted fresh?
Fresh.
You there, bud? He might have stepped away for a minute. Um Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to say about content, I remembered it now, is supposedly this is what I heard Thor talking about because Thor's a founder and he has like meetings with Ubisoft and they don't like tell him all of the like details of what's going on in the future, but he says they're already talking about what's going to be happening in season 5. Like, season 5
I
just
mean,
weapon like they've developed like apparently
so they
like
have a roadmap.
yeah, they developed like guns and hacks and I guess potentially story type stuff to go all the way to season 5 right now. And I'm thinking like, is it even gonna make it to season 5? Like, is it gonna be
Yeah,
a a live game for season 5? Like, that's when would that be? Like next summer, I guess. Like spring
probably.
maybe.
Yeah, because what they're 60-day long.
Yeah, so that's 10 months of worth of content, I guess. So that would have be almost a year from now that season 5 comes out. Like,
Yeah,
A-
basically.
and that's good. Like you said, having a roadmap, I think that's a good thing. But like, also like focus more on what's happening right now in your game.
I guess.
That
Yeah, but like maybe. I mean, if it is doing that well on console, maybe maybe the PC community is just a little bit too critical for this game. Like, I love this game. I think it's a lot of fun, but there's just so many things to play on PC, and like obviously there is on console as well, but on console for a lot of online games you have to have PlayStation Plus. And I
Hmm.
believe this is one of the games where you don't have to have that. You can just play. I think
I can't confirm that or deny it. I don't
or
know.
like PlayStation and Xbox Live, obviously not just PlayStation.
Well, yeah.
Um, I think that's one of the big things on console is that when a free game comes out, it's pretty big.
It's significant for them,
It's
yeah.
a lot easier. Yeah, it's a lot more significant. There we go. That's a freaking word I was looking for.
Yeah.
uh,
Because there's so many free games on PC. You could go download 1,000 free battle royales or whatever, and
but
like,
I could spend $10 and get like 10 games on a Steam sale
right,
if it came down to it. But when it comes on to console, like you don't ever see sales like that on console. You don't ever see games that are $1.
right. Unless it's like a game that came out 8 years ago and it was a bad game.
Yeah, or it's a port from like a PlayStation 2 game.
Right, true.
I mean, the last time I saw console sales was at GameStop, and I don't know, I don't know how long that's really gonna last anyway. But
That's why we kind of think it's doing better on consoles because like free games aren't super like normal. So
for
it's
sure,
significant when
It's
they
not as
get a,
common, yeah.
yeah, it's significant when they get a free game. But when
I mean,
PC player gets a free game,
Well, I mean, it's also a free game from a AAA developer as well. It's not like it's an indie developer free game.
yeah.
I
But
mean,
like PC players, you can go download 1,000 free games and just do whatever. Like you can find so many games,
Hmm.
and
but
the PC game is super saturated. That whole market's super saturated.
sure, but I think PC community in general is a bit larger than Xbox community.
Oh yeah, it's global.
Is like
At least the
our
people you connect with.
I don't know if console or PC gaming is bigger. Like if you put both the consoles together, I'm not sure what the stats are on that. I wouldn't be
Well,
surprised if console is bigger because it's just more affordable and like
That's something
children
I
can play with a controller. Children can't always play with a keyboard and mouse.
True. I feel like consoles are uh this is like touching on like just gaming in general. Consoles are like easier accessible have easier accessibility because of their lower price point. You know, you can buy a PS4 and it'll play your Blu-rays, it'll be your Netflix streaming device, it'll be your gaming device, and you get that for,
And it
what?
can sit in the living room.
Yeah, and it's for $250 instead of a gaming PC. Like if you want to play decent games, you're looking at like $500 without a monitor and peripherals and stuff. You
Yeah.
know?
sure. I mean, I did a quick Google real fast just so
Mhm.
we're on the same page here. But so Xbox and PlayStation combined are larger than the PC community, but PC gamers are larger if you put them up against Xbox individually and then PS4 individually. Also, it's hard to track PC gaming because some discs are unaccountable, while as gaming on Xboxes are super accountable by discs. So I just thought we should throw that in there. But I mean, I guess it makes
So it's
sense that
comparable, I guess.
yeah, it's comparable communities is where we would put it. I wouldn't say one's like especially bigger than the other, bigger in general. But I just feel like it is bigger
I
when
would
a free game comes out, but at the same time, PC didn't take a hold of it as well.
I
It's
would
the same.
argue to say that PC gaming is bigger because you think about esports, like pretty much all esports is PC gaming. You got League of Legends, you got CS:GO, you know, there are games like Apex and
Okay,
COD that
but
are
you're talking about
console
the
as well.
players, right? Like the viewers might not necessarily be PC gamers. Like those are the most viewed games.
Yeah, I'm talking about player base. My bad, not
Okay.
viewers necessarily. I'm talking about player base because then there's MMOs, WoW, like all that stuff is PC only. But yeah, that's just fresh. Did you have an opinion about how they're doing with the story content? The cutscenes and the memory shards and stuff like that.
I think it's just a horrible way to develop it, to be honest
You think
with you.
so? You're not
Yeah,
a
so
fan?
I've read through the first two, or the
Mhm.
first three, sorry. I've done it on stream as well. I think they're a bit too long, and they don't like cut to the chase, which you would think in a game that's super fast paced they would. But I get
Yeah.
writing and playing is a bit different. I just feel like it's bad when you say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna drop off," the last part at 50. What was it, like 58 days? Right when it released, you were able to see how long each content drop would be for that. I think it was 58 days from release, and that
hmm
just feels like a bit too long in my opinion. But
I feel like it goes to more of a world building standpoint. Like I get what you mean. Like it's not like it doesn't get to the storyline right away, but I feel like it goes to the world building aspect of like letting us know what the lore of the Hyperscape world is. But
right.
yeah, I mean, like Fresh would say, to each their own.
To each their own. For sure. For sure. I also just feel like in general content's lacking though, right?
Oh yeah, they could have more story content. They could have content. Yeah, like another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit on content was like the potential for game modes in this game. Like I've seen people say like capture the flag. Like that would be so sick in Hyperscape. Capture the flag, dude. Like I
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't know.
that'd be dope.
You would
But
have
like
the
that
area to do it.
yeah, but that also goes back to what I was saying earlier with the faction wars. It's going to split the player base, which is already on the life support.
Yeah, it's plugged in the 14 breathing machines right
Yeah.
now. I just feel like content in general, other than that, like weekly challenges and like daily challenges. I don't mean to be super harsh on this, and maybe I'm just like sweating the shit out of it, but like I sit there and get done with the weekly challenges in a day and the daily challenges in an hour, if
Yeah.
that. So I'm sitting there the
Yeah.
rest of the week struggling to say, oh, I have a reason because I could complete these challenges or have an objective other than to just go kill somebody. Like I like the how you have to find the shards and they aren't just given to you. I think that's a
Mhm.
really cool aspect, but like at the same time that only lasts for 30 minutes. I'm
Yeah.
sitting there struggling to say what's new, what's fresh, what do I get to say and see. I'm
Yeah.
just a bit disappointed overall because you look at all these other games that like cater to the hardcore community. We were sitting there and Apex has a very extensive battle pass that takes a long time to complete. I know Modern
Yeah.
Warfare is probably not your favorite example, but that takes a long time to complete. All these games have these battle passes that reward the serious gamer, if you will.
Yeah.
And you look at Hyperscape and you're like, okay, I got maybe 70 hours of content here.
Oh man, it was way
Well,
less than that for me. I got the battle pass finished in the first week.
well, we were just
Oh,
talking about how like the serious gamer is kind of what's killing this game.
I f-
So I think that I actually like this battle pass. I'm going to completely disagree. I hated the way Apex did it because Apex made me put in hours and hours on end to get content that I paid for already, but I just didn't have the time to put into it because I had a job. Like I couldn't play that long every day to get those rewards that I paid for, and I didn't like that. I think the more casual player would appreciate not like being able to get all their daily challenges done in an hour, because what if they only have an hour to play? Like
right.
some people that play this game are like parents, so they don't have a lot of time to put in to the battle pass to earn the rewards that they did pay for. Like, yeah, I know like you have to earn them, but I don't think you should have to put in 8 or 4 hours a day trying to like stress over getting rewards. I also hated the way Apex did it because it like forced you to play as other characters, and I didn't like to do that because it's like after a while you figured out who you liked as characters, and I didn't like going into the game facing super sweats that had already completed the battle pass because they play 8 hours a day, and then I'm being forced to play as a character that I'm not used to, and then these guys are just cropping on me, and then I'm not getting my challenge done. And it's like I don't want to have to sweat to earn content that I paid for. That's my opinion.
I
I
feel like
understand the other side of it though.
I feel
Here's
like
what
they're
I
not
was.
meeting it in the middle. Like there's all the challenges are kind of catered to the casual player, but the skill gap and the way that they're not cultivating the population means that those players are already alienated. Like you're saying, the parent who only plays 1 hour a day, do they even want to play this game when they log on and get 5 losses and get second place on the last game and decide, okay, well, there's my hour,
Well, no, but making the reward system be harder. So like if you complete a daily challenge in the hour, you might be like, "Oh, sweet! I actually got some of my daily challenges done. Maybe, and like I earned a new skin. Well, maybe I want to play as that skin for another 2 matches or whatever." Right?
hmm
You get to that casual player that wouldn't have been that only played for an hour, maybe playing for an hour and a half because they were able to earn a reward from that hour. So if you if you want it to be just the sweaties, then yeah, make the battle pass hard, make it challenging, make it so people have to play a lot. But if like a casual person was going to decide to play the game for a lot longer, a reward might keep them around longer than if you didn't give them any rewards at all.
I can
Well,
appreciate that, but I think they should also add something more for the hardcore gamers. Like one thing I thought of the other day is they should let you over level over 100, even if you don't get any rewards, any skins, any in-game rewards. You
Okay,
could still
yeah,
be like, I'm level 169 or whatever. Like
I
I've
don't disagree with that.
I've
I
played
think adding
enough to
shit
get
like
that
that
way.
is sick.
Because as of right now, I don't even have incentive to do the challenges. Why would I do the challenges? I don't need the experience to level my battle pass right now, and that's going to be like it for the next 4 weeks until season 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't I think that like one thing Apex did really well was they had the cards and they had badges and they had shit that you could earn in game constantly.
Oh, like little banners and stuff and
Yeah, like
icons
I
and
got a 2,000 damage game or I got a 20 kill game, like shit that
yeah.
like you could actually like low key flex. And then they also upped like the level cap so you could get up to like 1,000 or
hmm
something like that. I think that's also a cool adjustment that like this game could have
I
after
mean,
you hit
we
100.
know
You
they
could
track those stats. They just need to, use the data they have.
well, I mean, they just have to design like that comes down to designing
hmm
like literally like physically somebody designing stuff,
hmm
like what it would look like to be above level 100, like designing cards and things like that. It would just come
Yeah,
down to
more
more
assets.
content. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
well, I would also submit that sure, the parent or casual gamer could only have 1 or 2 hours a day to play, but at the same time, if you go an AFK Twitch stream, homie, you're getting
No,
300
you can't
stars a day.
AFK. You have to go and claim it. Like you have
Yeah,
to come back and click claim. So like you can't AFK Twitch streams. You can
to level your battle pass.
level
No,
your battle pass.
you can
But
get
You have
dropped
to
that
do
way.
it.
I mean, I guess what I'm getting to is you don't have to physically log on to the game to get progression.
Okay, but I can't like I have to like when I watch Twitch at work, it's on my phone. I can't
You can't use
level up
the
to
hyper
there,
crown. Yeah, hyper
and
crown.
I can't use company resources to watch Twitch. Like
I
I'd
don't
get
know.
fired for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I sit there and I struggle because I'm sitting there and getting it done in an hour and like a day, and now I have to wait 6 more days to progress. You know, another
So
section.
what's
And
your proposed like idea to fix that? Do you think the challenges should be
solution?
harder? Do you
Oh, for
think they
sure.
should be more, or what?
I think there should be a monthly challenge. So you got your daily, weekly, monthly. And I think the monthly should be not like impossible, but close to that. You know, like I think that should be the reward for the hardcore gamers. Now, do I think they should output more stars than the weekly challenge? No. I think it should just be something like you have to land at Red Tiger, 60 times or something. Something like that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that would reward more hardcore.
part of the problem with that is they have Ubisoft achievements that are separate from in-game Hyperscape challenges. Like I fresh or Squatch was
They
saying
should make this
yesterday.
more apparent then.
Yeah, Squatch was saying yesterday that apparently you can get an achievement for getting a no-kill win, and I didn't know about that because it's a Ubisoft thing, right?
I'm pretty
Well,
yeah.
I think that system's scuffed. I don't think that system ever will succeed, and I'll explain why. When I was playing Rainbow Six Siege, for example, right? You had in-game, stuff like you had the play matches. The more XP you got, the more in-game currency you got, which was able to unlock more attachments and for you to progress character level, right? And then those challenges and that would just be an easy way to get that. But you sit there and they're like, oh, Ubisoft Club points. Here's 20 Ubisoft Club points for doing X challenge. And you'd sit there and be like, okay, now what do I use it for? I feel like I just wasted my time trying to gain those because there was only certain things you could get. I mean, I've already grabbed all the Hyper Scape content from Ubisoft Club points in the first month of playing,
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't plan on coming out with more of that. That was
Well,
sort of
you don't
just
know that. They could have more.
Not yet. It's probably not
Rainbow
coming
Six
until
Siege
season 2.
hasn't done that, and Rainbow Six Siege has been out for
True.
3-4 years now, right? Somewhere
I
around
feel like
that.
they're trying to be like everybody's trying to capture that Xbox achievements thing that got super big in the Xbox 360 era, where people were like, it made them feel good to like, oh man,
Yeah.
or like on PlayStation, oh man, I
The
platinumed that
platinum. Yep.
game.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say that, which was basically trying to get that Xbox achievement like
Hmm.
feeling as well. Yeah. But platinuming a game is actually like that's one thing that I like. They could do shit like that because platinuming games. Well, I can't even say the word anymore.
getting
Um,
a getting a plat.
is definitely difficult to do on a lot of games. They
Oh
have
yeah.
like actually insane challenges that are like hit this shot while sliding down and falling and taking damage and then kill them with one shot. And it's like, is that possible? And then somebody will do it. You're like, okay, well, you're a psycho.
It is possible. Okay.
Yeah. But I think
Right.
that, I mean, making those, maybe not having them be Ubisoft achievements, but having something similar like that in game so you can see it.
Yeah, they should integrate that into what we were saying, like the battle cards or the battle banners that you have that show like.
I definitely think they need to add battle banners. I think that like Hyperscape, the environment itself
Yeah, man.
lends itself to like having giant posters of the previous champions, or like I think that was one of the best things that Apex did was
Oh, you can see
showing
your
like
top scorers. Yeah.
yeah, the people who won their last game or like had the highest
Well, I also just meant
skill.
like the little like when you get killed by somebody, their little card comes up and you see,
Yeah.
oh, they have 900 sniper headshots or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They could do like they could do like really crazy hard challenges for that, like
Yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
or like, yeah, this guy got a pentakill when in lethal melee or whatever. But yeah, go ahead. No, that's just they should add stuff like that for sure.
I think they're adding stats this upcoming patch. They're adding like a super preliminary like stat page, and then
Mhm.
they're gonna add a ton more in season 2.
I just feel like that gets nowhere, bro. I feel like that's just a grab at trying to create content and say, oh yeah, we put
Well,
this
they're
out in
trying.
season 2.
Yeah, they're trying to say, hey, we've heard people want stats. This is something that we can get done quickly if you give us a little bit more. I think they're trying to appease people. Like, I think that move is a decent move because it's saying we're listening. We might not be able to get everything that you want, but we're at least trying to get something that you guys want.
You know, yeah,
I
but
agree.
I feel like that's sort of useless on me. Like, I mean, especially with like how well known tracker.gg is within the community. I feel like sitting there and being like, oh yeah, we could we're tracking stats now in game is sort of just like a waste of time in my opinion. You know,
I
if
think
I
it's
was
a
a
waste of time to
developer,
have to go to a second website to look at my stats. Like why?
yeah,
Like
but
why can't I just pull it up in the game?
I'd have
I
rather
feel
put
like
the people on content or fixing bugs than
so
saying,
that's
"Oh,
not
let's come out with a tracker system."
it's not going to increase player retention. Like I don't, in my opinion, I don't think that's what's going to happen. You know.
I mean, I think that they're trying to say, "Hey, we're listening." They can't fix the bugs that are going to increase player retention. Apparently, like they're working on them, but they can't do it. At least they're doing something. The people that are creating content aren't the same people that are adding a stat board. Like the
True.
people
True.
that are designing the 3D models and creating the guns and creating all that stuff aren't the people that are making that. So it's not like they're pulling somebody. They're pulling somebody probably. It probably took somebody 3 days to make that stat board, but they said they heard people wanted stats, so they're like, all right, well we'll pull somebody to do it real quick, and then we'll work on making something full fledged. All the while, they're having people create the 3D models for the guns. They're having people create the concepts for the guns. They're having people create concepts for hacks and all these other things. It's I know it's not like the best thing, and yeah, it might not increase player retention, but they're struggling on getting fixing the things that are increasing player retention. So at least they're trying to do something to appease people in the meantime.
Yeah. So are you talking about like a leaderboard or where you can
Like
literally just see in game how many wins you got and stuff
yeah,
like that?
it'll be in your screen. I think KD wins. I didn't see the full list of stats that they're adding, but
Hmm.
the shit that everybody brags about is like I got a 6.0 KD. I got this many wins.
I hate the concept of KD, bro. Like I don't know, man. Like yeah,
I just hate the concept of people like using that as a way to get like gain attention.
clout chasing.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, they're using the stats for clout chasing. I feel that. There's definitely people doing that. Like, I mean, I can't speak on how any particular streamer. Like, I'm not gonna name names, but there's definitely some people who are pretty good at the game, and I feel like they're starting to get a big head because they're like on top of the leaderboards and stuff, and that creates toxicity in the community. Then that's going back to
Mhm.
player base or whatever. But yeah, but
I
yeah.
just don't.
So go ahead, Fresh.
I sit there and I struggle with it, bro. I don't know. Squatch is right that it probably wasn't the same guy that could have fixed bugs, but like I don't know. I felt like the resources could have been allocated in a different way to provide a better
Yeah,
foundation
for
right now.
sure.
Because
Oh
let's
yeah.
be
I mean, giving them they've spent so much in advertising, and they should definitely be giving that money to fix the game.
Yeah, and,
Like,
and paying
like you
people
made a
like
great point. Like, why the hell are they advertising a game that isn't fully polished? Like,
and
you can't expect people to be like, "Yep, I'm okay with that." When they're like, "Okay, this game looks sick," and then you come and it's like half broken. Like, I agree. I don't think they're spending their money wisely. But at the same time, it's like the people that are showing their face talking about it, they're like, we're doing whatever we can do. They're like, we're trying.
yeah,
But there's bigger higher ups that are like, that sucks. You're gonna have to do that with half the budget that you need. It's like, oh, sick.
yeah,
sick, bro.
and they're like paying people like Tifu and
Mm-hmm.
Nick Merckx to play the game once on
One
stream,
time, yeah.
and they're never gonna play that game again. Well, not never, but the likelihood of them returning to or streaming Hyper Scape again is super low because the point I made earlier, they're not gonna get the same viewership as COD or whatever game they're maining, Valorant, whatever.
Yeah, I think they're. I
They
think
spent that money unwisely for sure on the streamer portion of it, in my opinion. And then what happens when the streamer hops on to introduce the game to 50,000 new people and their sound cuts out because they dropped into Helios? Like,
Well, that
Really?
happened. Like,
we
I
can
think
transition
Lupo was
to
playing.
bugs. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, I think Lupo's playing Twitch Rivals or whatever, and his teammate had to restart the game multiple times because of sound bugs. So it's like that's such a bad.
Such a bad look for Hyperscape. Yeah. And it's like the bugs, uh, like transitioning into the bugs topic, like the audio bug is like, in my opinion, I think it's like on the borderline of game breaking. Like you said, it doesn't crash the game. It doesn't make it so you physically can't really play the game, but it's close enough, bro. Like this game uses audio cues to an extreme extent. Like I've never really been like this is my casual gamer, not a lot of experience in VRs, but like the fact that you can like hear a chest tinkling from like 20 meters away, and you're like, oh, I hear that chest, I gotta go find it. Or at least that's what I do. And then like you can hear the fact that somebody's walking up 3 floors from you, and you could kind of tell because of the fact that the audio design is so good by the sound of their footsteps that they're on top, they're below me or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then to have a bug that takes that away from the game, like it's pretty shitty. Like and it's definitely caused a lot of people to maybe not quit the game, but like I think have lower expectations for the game, for like me included.
Right. I mean, I sit there and I don't realize how important audio is and how much I base movement and plays off of it until it cuts out. And I get super frustrated. Because, like,
Hmm.
when I'm running in a building, audio allows me to tell if that guy's going up, down, if he's above me or beside me or whatever it may be, right? And then I play with it. I'm sitting there and I'm freaking out because I don't know if there's a guy right next to me, right? Like I have a problem with it where I would even say it is game breaking. It makes me not want to play this game, and it always sucks. And it makes me just want to restart the game instantly the second I get it. You know? But I struggle with it because I like the game. You know?
Right.
I like the content they've produced, and I like how it feels. I mean, the movement, perhaps one of the best movement shooter games I've ever played in my whole entire life. You know, the slides are perfect where you could transition, between a run and a jump, and all the abilities that allow you to move faster or hinder other players' movement just feel clean. But you sit there and you're like, half the drops I get, I don't have audio for the first 5 minutes I'm playing the round. And that completely ruins and dashes the whole experience of what this game's supposed to be like.
To be fair, I haven't had the golden landmark audio bug since they took out the magnet, but that doesn't mean that it still doesn't happen. It's just happened less for like it hasn't. I haven't had any audio bugs since the magnet was removed, but apparently they are still in the game. They still do happen. It's just I don't know what the trigger is.
Right.
And I would also argue to say that this I think is a pretty commonly known thing, but the slide/crouch thing isn't perfect. Like, there's many times when I'm trying to sprint and then hit a slide and I just crouch instead, and I'm pretty sure that that's not working right. Like, I've heard other streamers say that it's not necessarily a bug. It's just the slide isn't perfect right now. But I
Right.
just wanted to bring that up because that happens to me all the time.
Sure, but
Now, I
I
guess
still
I
feel
I
like
see that
movement.
happen to Thor, but I've never had that happen to me. I guess maybe once or twice, but I don't know. I think the slide mechanic is pretty sick.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's smooth. When it works, it works. But maybe I'm just fucking up my Like I'm hitting the slide too early, right after I tap my sprint button or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is, honestly.
Do you have toggle sprint on? This is
Yeah.
a crazy side note. Sometimes I don't exactly know how it works, but like usually I just click sprint once and then I can slide jump constantly and I never have to hit sprint again.
Maybe I'm hitting
That
sprint
might
too much, but I
that could
definitely
be
have.
it, but I'm not trying to diagnose it right now.
Yeah, no, I feel that. But I've heard other people say that they are crouching more than they think they should. Like Luwop and Roxy Surf Chick were saying that happens to them. Maybe maybe I'm bad at the game. I don't know.
No, I don't think that has anything to do with being bad at the game.
But
I
yeah,
just
the what other bugs were we gonna discuss as well? I mean, we could still talk about the audio bug for sure.
My
But
main one is audio bug, and then just like the random bug, if you partially desync from the game, you lose the ability to like pick up weapons sometimes.
oh yeah, like you can't.
And that, in my opinion, is game breaking because you cannot play the game without weapons,
Right.
without hacks, without being able to shoot people. Like I think that audio bugs borderline game breaking, but like you can still play it. It's just like a lot harder to play and definitely not as enjoyable to play. And I hate it and I want to reset, but like I don't think it's game breaking by definition, but I think that
The inability to use your
yeah,
stuff
is like
there's like a variation on that bug too, like where you pick up a gun and it just won't fire or you can't reload it. Like
yeah.
I've picked up a Skybreaker before and it just won't reload, and I'll like tap R to even reload it and it won't do it. And
well,
that's a
I
game breaking bug in my opinion, yeah.
for sure. I mean, I'll pick up. It's allowed me at times to pick up 6 different guns and 2 different abilities, and it like I'll die and it'll be the first 2 original guns, but I can't shoot, reload. I can't move with them. I can't like, and it's just like I'm holding my sword in a very like weird position, like it's halfway in my hand.
Yeah.
That's game breaking, you know.
Yeah,
and so just to have all these go around and like, I'm talking about this hasn't just happened once to me, right? This is like a continuous problem that I face, and to have that happen so many times just puts you off from a game like this. If you can't do the main function that this is intended to, let's go find another game that does what it says.
Right.
And I struggle to sit there when I see a guy kill me because his game's working, but I can't kill him because my game's a little bit desyncy, And it isn't like I have bad Wi-Fi or anything or bad Ethernet. It's just like that little bit really matters, and I feel like they need to sit there and be like, okay, so we notice X happens and Y happens, and that causes 4 people to quit every time it happens, And I think they should look at it and be like, okay, we could fix this by increasing, how much ping we're allowing players, Because that's another problem is, like, when I was playing with some viewers, especially people like Jans and Moost, they would get kicked a lot because their ping was just, it threshold a little bit too high once. It's happened to me too, where it goes like to the 150 mark and it's like instantly kicked off. It doesn't let it like reset down to what it should be. It feels like that should be adjusted a little bit in accordance to some of these bugs as well, especially the ones that are at fault with desync.
For sure.
Just I don't know.
I was having a lot of connection issues earlier this week after they did the maintenance to remove the magnet, and I wouldn't necessarily say it was a bug, but like, yeah, I would get like red latency and red connection errors on the side. I don't know. It's just it goes back to what Fresh was saying. Is like I'm not impressed with their response or the what they're telling us they're doing to fix this. Like, who knows? They might be fixing every single one of these things that we're talking about, but they aren't telling us that that's what's happening behind the scenes, so we don't know.
Right. I mean, I struggle, bro. Like I was saying, I sit there and I see a half-cocked response as, we don't want to go into the weekend without giving you anything, and they address 3 of the 42 problems I'm having.
Yeah.
You know? I just sit there and I'm like, gosh, that would piss me off. You know, and it does piss me off.
Yeah, when they announced that instead of like being able to solve the overarching audio bug, they are just taking out the magnet, I was upset. Like I get that that's a band-aid for a much the much larger issue of the fact that they can't fix the bigger audio bug because it's whatever is triggering the audio bug is something that they have to code out or fix the code or whatever, But like,
Oh,
so they're
Very
removing
epic.
content to fix this problem, like, and it's in this supposedly full release, and this new hack was supposedly just part of the new content for the full release, but you can't even keep it in the game longer than a week. Like,
right. Hey, just real fast break from content. Armor just resubbed for 3 months in a row and says very epic. Thank you very much, Armor, for
hell
the
yeah,
resub, brother. I
that's
didn't mean
what's
to
up.
drag it off content, but can't ignore
No,
a sub, you know?
Yeah, that's legit, man.
No, I agree with you, bro. I'm just not pleased. I'm not pleased in the direction that they feel like they're bringing this game. And maybe I don't speak for everyone, but I definitely feel like I speak for a certain population here where it's just like, you're not doing this right. You know, I have 13 years of playing video games underneath my belt. Like, I've gone through my fair share of good and bad, and it just feels like this is not going in the way that a 2019 2020 game should really be hitting, you know?
Right, from a AAA developer who doesn't make small games. Like, can't forget that Ubisoft, they're the Assassin's Creed game company, bro. Like, they have the Rainbow Six series. Like, they're not making small games, but they can't
Right.
get this game to do what they're advertising it to do. You know?
Yeah, and it's just a bit disappointing, especially from a developer standpoint. Oh, like from a consumer. I'm not a developer, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in the product that's been released. I would be less disappointed if they kept it in beta. You know, point number
Right.
1 that we were talking about. Keep it in beta. Fix what needs to be fixed before focusing on putting in new items, right? Like, I would be completely fine if they told me, hey, for the next month, we're going to strictly focus on bugs. That means
Yeah.
no new content's going to come out. You guys are going to have the same skins, but what we
No
can
balance.
promise you, yep, what we can promise you is at the very end of this, we'll get at least the audio bug out. You know? Like, I would be happy with that. I would be content and be like, okay, they're working towards the right thing. They're allocating resources to the right thing. I honestly feel like at this point, it's a cash grab. You know,
Yeah.
they wanna have this game last 3 months so they could get everyone purchasing every single cosmetic for $10 a cosmetic, you know, and sit there and be like, okay, cool, we got the money out of this to justify stopping the servers because we made our money back. And I just feel like that's the approach that they're giving this game right now, and I'm not doing too well with it.
I would say to that point, and to like sort of be on the developer side a little bit. Like I was saying, I don't know if you heard this earlier, but they're already like talking about concepts for season 5 right now. So all of the cosmetic stuff that they've developed, like all of this cosmetic stuff they're releasing has already been developed like a long time ago, and they're just putting that content still in the game because it's already ready to go. You know, they bug tested it or whatever. You know, like they developed the character skins and the weapon skins, 3 or 4 months ago. So it's not like they're taking time away from fixing the bugs right now to put more skins in, because
Yeah,
they're
No,
and
for sure.
again, those wouldn't even be the same people.
true.
I don't know. I just
I mean, I agree. They should definitely focus more on bugs. I was just saying, like,
Hmm.
content people and the bug fixers aren't the same people, unfortunately. So
Right.
saying no more content won't fix the bugs quicker. What they need to do is they need more money to make the bug team larger or the QA team larger. So they catch more of these bugs, or they can have a larger team to find the bugs and fix the bugs quicker. Like
Agreed.
if you remove some of the content budget, then maybe that is the play. Then you can hire more bug developers or fixers. But
Right. I think that's where I was going with it more than anything was like
hmm
because I do remember you saying like the same people have different different people different specialties, right? So I do remember that. I just was thinking along the
The
lines of like
resources, the
yeah,
resources allocated to each separate one. Yeah.
if I have $1 million that I know I can spend in the next 2 months, and maybe these are inflated numbers, but if I know I have $1 million I could spend, and I know for right now cosmetics are at an okay sale and we're getting like good sales on it, I'd just be like, okay, so how average time to make a cosmetic, and they would be like, okay, it takes a week to make X skin, and I'll be like, okay, cool. So we're gonna half your team, you're gonna make half the skins, but you could still make skins. We're just gonna put that money into making it more playable or enjoyable to play. Oh shit! My mic just fell off of its stand. uh, but I guess that's where I would put the money if I was the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-wise Ubisoft. I would. I guess that's where I was trying to get to.
Yeah, I get
Maybe
you.
that's looping a bit too much on what I've already previously said, but definitely, that's my feel of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll go ahead and say I think I've kind of covered everything I wanted to talk about as far as this particular episode. So, if you
Mm.
guys have any final points, then go for it.
I am
Squatch.
good.
All right, I am good. I feel like we covered everything we wanted to. Main topic, subtopics. We appreciate everyone who has joined us for the live version of this podcast. This podcast will be up on YouTube as well. You guys take it easy, and thank you for all the support.
You too, man.